Good evening and welcome.
You look like,
Hi.
no, Dr. Watson.
Susan says, I look like Dr. Watson.
No,
I look nothing like bloody Dr. Watson.
no, you look like,
Honestly,
what he's called.
since we've got 19 people in here and I can't see a freaking word. That means I'm going to need the bloody iPad again. Honestly, you can't find the stuff. So good evening, everyone. Chris Upton in the house. Today, we're talking about fly fishing by J.R. Hartley. As there seems to be nothing else on the show. Anyway, so I can see you all now. And a good evening to you all. Good evening to you all. Okay. So that's the end of that. No, I've not been started smoking again in case I get struck down by the virus. I've not started smoking, but by God, it smells bloody good. Bloody good. Just put that back. It's now wound me up now. That has. I just kept one pipe out of the whole of my pipe collection. Jack Hargreaves. Looks like Jack Hargreaves. Honestly, I look like an old fart, didn't I? I used to look at people like that and think, oh no, I don't want to reach that age. Now I think, I hope I live a bit longer. Anyway, good evening all. Good evening all. You're going to have to bear with me because for some bloody reason, it's not giving me. Remember to live chat. Learn more. Oh no, what's happened now? Have you lost me? No, you've not lost me, but it's giving me live chat or something. So never mind. Okay, so I'm going back if I can find you. There you go. It's not giving me live chat on here. Some days they just sent to test you. So you're going to have to go slow with me, everyone, as I'm looking at my iPad again. And unfortunately, I won't be looking at the screen like that and looking directly at you because that's how I've been taught to talk to people. You have to look them directly in the eye and speak to them like that. But unfortunately, everybody, I'm having to look down here at the screen. So please bear with me. And as you see, I'm like a nodding dog at the moment. So, good evening, Chris, and hope you're both well. What's the rainbows about, Simon Spruce? Is that something to do with hospital? Evening, Alan Chadwick. How are you? Kieran Evans is in the house. Was he the first one in the house? Yes, he was the first one in the house. I have a question as a novice with no knowledge at all, coming into dogs for the first time. Hang on. What do you feel the first and most important thing is to learn and understand as a trainer? You're not a complete novice coming into dogs for the first time. You've been doing it for about 2-3 years. What are you on about? Are you trying to trick me? Hey, Karen, are you trying to trick me? Is that a trick question? Well, what I suggest you look at my latest video on YouTube and go and sign up for that at $49, $47. They're going to give you your money back if you're not happy. Purchase it, watch it, learn from it. You'll learn every basic known to man and be able to train your dog for absolutely nothing because they say if you're not happy, you can ask for your money back and they'll give you your money back. Good luck with that one. But hey, but let's be sensible, shall we? Let's go back to answering that question. By God, there's been some funny live feeds this week, hasn't there? Honestly, they're dragging me back in, get into these bloody debates again. I don't want to, but I can't help it.
There is an off button.
Susan said there is an off button. And she says, if you carry on, they'll be switching off from you, Chris. All you need to do is concentrate on training dogs and stop trying to correct the world. It looks so much better when I'm looking at the camera and looking you deep in the eye and talking to you in that way, isn't it? And together we can create harmony. No, I don't want to create harmony. Harmony, hairspray. Never used it in my frigging life. I say it the way it is. I say it the way I want to say it. I'm me. I'm going to be me. Live with it. I can't help it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Or can you? Okay. Let me just start off. Wait a second. Before we go back to the questions. I don't know if anybody watches Christopher Fraser on here. I don't know if anybody watches Christopher Fraser. We did a live feed today, and it was one of the best live feeds I've ever listened to. Isn't that strange? I don't agree with everything he says, but isn't that strange? I say it the way it is. And him and Linda were talking about a number of things. Now, I'm not too sure about the apocalypse and how the world's going to end and everyone's going to eat each other in the end and we'll all become cannibals. I wasn't too into that. But once they actually started talking about dog training, and that's why I listen, that's why I watch, and that's why I keep my mouth shut a lot of the time, and people don't know I'm listening. And I just want to say, if Chris Fraser actually watches this or anybody follows Chris Fraser, tell Chris Fraser from Chris Upton it was one of the best live feeds I've listened to. And anybody who wants to learn about dog training and the understanding of why we do what we do, we criticize, we critique, we do it slightly different. I try and not name names unless they've gone out of their way to rubbish me and rubbish my life. Then I got no problem at all. And so I don't want to go on all night about this, but it's one of them live feeds that if you sat and listened to and just put aside about the Armageddon and how the world's going to end and how we're all going to like survive on our own and become a bit like Mad Max. But you got into the dog training side of it. It's absolutely fantastic. Do you like the way I'm looking at you directly in the eye again? I'm having man management lessons from Susan. She says you need to put yourself across better than you are. So I put a shirt on for you. I'm trying to make myself look smart instead of that black beard yesterday, last week, the pantomime villain. Okay? So I'm not being the pantomime villain. I'm being the good man out there, the good shepherd. So I'm telling you all to go and spend $47, purchase that package that offers you every aspect of dog training, the basics, that's what you need, the basics, learn the basics, and they can teach you with that $47. I'm trying to help out the American economy here, get Trump back up on the circuit for everyone liking him, because at the moment he's taking a bit of shit, isn't he? And he's going off on one, isn't he? He's definitely going off on one. But we've all had lockdown, haven't we? Somebody reckons I'll be better off with lockjaw. Anyway, that's enough for me. Let's go back to Karen's question. I have a question as a novice with no knowledge at all. Sympathy. He's just looking for sympathy. Coming into dogs for the first time, what would you feel is the most important thing to learn and understand as a trainer? Great question, Karen. Absolute great question. Shut this, watch as much as you can, and learn. Don't give answers. Don't give people answers. Don't agree with everything everybody says. Soak it up. Take it in. Keep the stuff that you find important. The things that work, the things that are knowledgeable towards you, and you think, yes, I like that. Try it. If it doesn't work, move on, throw it out. But soak as much information in as possible. Not just from one trainer, but look at everybody. And then you'll soon work out who has got a good idea. And if they're not putting up dogs that are going wrong, and they're only putting up pretty pictures, Labradors weaving between their legs, sitting on the sofa and calling them darling, and my little fur baby and my sweetheart, my babies, this is what they do. My babies, they're not babies. Anybody who calls their dogs babies, move on. Right? We all love our little dogs. We've all got that little bond between those little dogs. They're the best thing since sliced bread. My dog's better than your dog. But guess what? When people start calling them fur babies and they've got toys, move on. Okay? If you want to train your dogs and get people to like you on the internet, throw food at them. And that's how you train circus animals. Throw food at them. Right? Okay? There we go. Anyway, I'm on a roll tonight, aren't I? So, good evening, Chris and Sue. Hope you're both well. Done that one. Hi, Chris and Sue. What age would you introduce a cocker pup to live game? Well, you've got a bit of a problem at this time of year, really, haven't you? Do you mean live game as in going out flushing or putting them in a rabbit pen? live game. What do you mean warm game? At the end of the day, a pup. When you say pup, what is a pup? Sometimes I call a 15-month-old dog a pup, but then I wouldn't be introducing a 12-week-old pup or an 8-week-old pup to live game. No, I wouldn't. But would I give a young dog a flapping pigeon at about 7, 8 months old? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. So there you go. Hope that answers that question. Good evening, Craig. Good evening, Matt. I hope you're all staying safe. Andrew Leverley, good evening. Alan Head, good evening. We said good evening to Alan Chadwick, and Alan's got his spanner back. Look at that. Good evening from Chris DeVoe. Congratulations, Chris. Everybody knows you're a winner. Not a sinner. He's a winner. And what a lovely chap, isn't he? Did you see his, to thank everybody on Patreon? And isn't it funny on Facebook, isn't it? You got 2 thumbs down on those videos that we put up. We put them up on Facebook to show people that we've got like-minded people who like to run their dogs, like to have a bit of competition, and they're all at different stages, and yet they're all willing to put their head above the parapet and say, "There's me dog." Isn't that lovely? Lovely, and it was nice. I enjoyed it. It was time-consuming looking through them. It was time-consuming doing a voiceover. But the guys who actually got involved, I think they enjoyed it. And we're going to do another one in a month's time. And we're going to do one on hunting. So what you want to do is you want to go out and get your hunting videos. But you can't because you're stuck inside the house. And yeah, I think you'll be stuck inside the house in the next frigging month unless there's anarchy in the UK. And I don't think the Sex Pistols are around anymore, are they? Isn't it funny, isn't it, eh? Isn't it funny that Terry Waite, is it? He was on telly the other day and he tied his bicycle up to the freaking railings, didn't he? And he went missing for 5 years. And they put him in a freaking room for 5 years. He didn't crack up, did he? Terry Waite. Did you see it on the television the other day? I'm looking directly in the camera because I know now that I've got to look directly in the camera, and that way people will believe you even more. There you go. And but stop pointing with that finger because you might hit someone in the eye. Okay, so stop being an idiot. Richard Gere, Mr. Olison's book. Right? Oh, the Mr. Olinson look. Hey, I like that. No, okay. Rachel Fox. Hello, Rachel. You're still here, John Wilson. Oh, you're still here. Oh, thank you. How Jack Hargreaves remember him well? Yep, there you go, Steve Morton. Oh no, what's happening now? Nothing. I pressed the wrong button again. So that's what I'm saying. I'm now looking down at the screen. It looks silly, doesn't it? But because I'm looking at the screen with one eye in the air, and one eye in the air and one eye down there. So it's like freaking Cyclops, isn't it? It's like freaking Cyclops. I'm having to watch myself.
Fine on screen.
She said, "Stop being so self-critical about yourself, Chris." Good evening, all. Pierre is in the house. Pierre is in the house. Good evening, Pierre. I bet you're getting fat, Pierre, and you're sitting in front of the sofa, not doing any martial arts. Wah! Congratulations, Chris DeVoe from Paul Jarvis. He said it 27 times, but well done, Chris. Well done, boy. And I like Paul giving comments like that. That's really nice of him. Chris, can you say it to my 6-year-old daughter, Ella? She's hooked. Okay, Ella, we're going to have to watch the behavior and the language, and I'm going to be in a good mood today. Any questions, Ella? Fire away. Best behavior, Sue. Keep warning me.
Don't forget to say hi.
Hi, Ella. And I don't drink. I do not drink. It's water. And I don't lie neither. Don't tell your mum and dad. It's camel pee. Okay. Thanks, Paul. And Andy said, no problem. Desperados. Paul Cocker. Desperados. The beard's gone back white. Hi, mum and dad. Oh, God. She's in the house. Freaking hell. Kate! I'm isolating. Fuck off. Oh, Emma! Sorry. Ella. Sorry. We've got a youngster in the house. Sorry. White wine, large, Sue. What's this? What am I? A freaking waiter? She can get her own freaking wine. Andy, can you do us a favour? Andy's dead. Could you ask Campbell to stop sending me bloody rubbish on he doesn't talk to me anymore, but he sends me non-stop messages. Is he locked up in a room or something? Normally he's chopping wood, isn't he? Honestly, he's sending me, I can't say titty pictures on here, can I? But he's sending me so much stuff, Andy. Tell him to bloody stop. It's driving me bloody mad. And then you send me the same frigging pictures. As if you're sending each other stuff and then you send it on to me.
They are.
They are. Everybody is in the whole country. It's coming through like crazy. Stop it, everyone. Haven't you got a friend? Haven't you got a friend? Honestly, I'm stressed at the moment. I need this whiskey and calming down pills and my CBD oil. Oh, by the way, everyone, my back's getting better. It's just I'm getting fatter. That's the problem. Fatter by the moment. Honestly, I go around the field 17 times a day and I'm still getting fatter. Do you know why? Because I'm not chasing people across the fields with their dogs. Just made a mistake. Posted message twice. Pierre. Oh, for Christ's sake. It's just like this at the moment, isn't it? Third child, Dad, get it right. Oh, my God. Yes, you're right about there. Third child. That's what we've been talking about today, isn't it? Anybody who's got a freaking third child, don't listen to them. Honestly, the dogs get treated better than the children. Well, not in my daughter's house. The kids are on the table. They don't tell them to get off. I tell you what, if I was a kid or a dog, I'd love to live with my daughter. You know what you freaking want. You should see the walls. You should see the walls. They're like artists, they're the kids. The little ones, they just draw anywhere on the walls. They all laugh about it. Crazy. Wouldn't have that in my freaking house, would it, Kate? I had a pair of Bang & Olufsen speakers. They were projection speakers that were very, very expensive. About 1,500 quid in their day, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And I used to sit them in front of the cupboard to stop her opening the cupboards, because she used to open the cupboards as a little child and empty stuff all over the floor. She was a little brat. She was, my daughter, Kate. She was a little brat. No, she was lovely, but she was a brat. Anyway, I plugged in my speakers one day to play some music and nothing was happening. No sound was coming out the speakers. And I checked the wires again and nothing was happening. And I thought, this is strange. And then I lifted up the cage off the top of these projection speakers and I looked down and there was no speakers. She'd ripped the freaking hole in every speaker. There was nothing there. There was no speaker cardboard, whatever you call it, in the cone that's sitting in the speakers. These are 1,500 quid speakers, right? I looked at Sue and says, what the frick's happened with your speakers? Oh, I don't know how that happened. Well, who cleaned them up? Who cleaned up all the crap to save Kate from getting a hammering? A freaking hammering. Because I believe in discipline. Even when she was 3. No, at the end of the day, you can't have it. You can't have it. You've got to have discipline. She got away with bloody murder, that kid. Her mother protected her like crazy. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about dog training, so I don't know what we're going on about. 72 people watching, 13 likes. Is that all? You wanted entertainment? I'll give you entertainment. Now, come on, let's answer some questions. Here we go. Denver Skinner. We're back with Denver. I'm glad Denver's in the house asking questions. You know, my life seems to be nothing but answering questions about dog training lately. Can't you lot give me a break? Denver. Hi, Chris. My black Labrador loves carrying, just twists and turns her head so you can't take it off her when she comes back. How can I stop it? Denver. The reason that she does this is because it's slightly dominant. Have you got the stop on the dog yet? If you've got the stop on the dog, blow the stop whistle. And if she stops, then you can take it off her. But if she doesn't, put the long line on her, call her in when she brings the retrieve in, and stand on the long line. Don't jump on it, stand on it. So when she turns away, you can just guide her in and bring it into you and praise her. Now, the reason that we use a place board, but we don't use a place board straight away, we don't want to suppress the dog. But if I've got to tidy up a delivery, if you've got a small place board and the dog's going to sit on a place board, it makes the dog think when it elevates itself up to the height of the place board. So that's when I bring the place board in as a tool that I use sparingly. Once the dog is doing it nicely, then I take the dog off the place board. It's as simple as that. How about that, Denver? How about that? Happy with that, Denver?
And you're okay. Ella's gone to bed.
Ella's gone to bed. Sorry about that. Did I upset her? I'm so sorry. You know, I did say no snowflakes. I didn't say no children under 6. My fault. I'm sorry. I apologize for my language. Sometimes it just slips out.
She's gone to bed, so you're all right.
Oh, thank Christ for that. Thank you very much indeed. But I hope she was happy that I said good night to her. Good night. Farewell. Well, that's Sound of Music, wasn't it? I'm just about to break out into the Sound of Music for some reason. Okay. I can't see Chris ever selling Harley Quinn, Kieran. He fell in love with him. I love that little Harley Quinn. He's my fur baby. I'd have him in here if she would let me. But she won't. He could share my bed. Don't worry, she's gone to bed. Oh, thank Christ for that. So anyway, it's on that one. Anyway, Paul Crocker. Anyone else out there who walks their dogs in communal fields and all the other dogs are going crazy and you and yours close by or told to say, lovely feeling, isn't it, folks? Thanks. It's terrible, Paul. It's absolutely terrible. I see it all the time. There was a guy in the field out the back here. He just drove into the field. He let his two dogs out. They had no control at all. They're racing across the field towards my dogs. I think that some people just think that everybody wants to say hello to the dogs. And one of the things that everyone's doing, it seems to be strange at the moment, doesn't it? If you go outside the gate or anything and try and do anything on the bank or anything like that, and there's people walking past, they're going, good morning, how are you? Good morning, hello, 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 as if they've never freaking seen anyone. The whole world's gone freaking mad. This lockdown's made people like freaking race up to each other. Oh, you're still alive, are you? I'm still alive. How are you? How's dogs? Anybody got the bug? Fuck off. Go away. Sling your rock. I like self-isolation. No, I'm missing you all, really. Anyway.
One down from Denver.
Oh, she's off again, look. She's trying to give me grief. I'm trying to go down through these. Oliver Twist or Oliver Stone? Oliver Twist. Oliver Swift. Oliver Twist. Oh God, I'm lost now. Oliver Swift. Hi Chris. Sorry, internet connection lost as you were just about to answer question. Got the last bit of the flapping pigeon.
And that was, I think, to do with...
Well, Oliver, after it's finished, if you go back up and look at it and go 20 minutes 12, it will give you the answer. That was the answer to Denver's question about the flapping pigeon. Was it? Was that the question? The flapping pigeon?
I don't know. Was that when?
Was that the other question?
What age would you induce a cockaput to live game? Were you saying?
Right. Was that what I wanted with offering live game to a dog? Yeah, it depends on when you say live game. At the end of the day, a flapping pigeon, I tend to give a young dog a flapping pigeon. The reason why, it doesn't get scared. If you give an older dog a flapping pigeon, you wait till it's 15 months old and it's never seen anything flap, they can jump like crazy back from that. But young dogs don't seem to have so much problem. So, 6 months at the earliest, but it depends how advanced your dog is with retrieving. If it loves retrieving, then you could give it a flapping pigeon. And when I say flapping pigeon, we keep pigeons aside and they'll fly back to the roost, back to their homing. And what happens is you can throw them out in front of the dog or dizzy them and lay them out in the grass. But at the end of the day, I can't put that up on the internet because you can have some snowflake having a heart attack, right? And thinking that I've paralyzed a pigeon. Well, I haven't paralyzed a pigeon. I've dizzied a pigeon like you dizzy a pheasant. And that's what they do when they're out in America. They dizzy the pheasant and lay it on its side and put its head underneath its wing and put it on its side, and it just sits there. So when the dog comes in for a flush, up goes the bird. Technically, that's why you see the dogs jumping out in the air and trying to grab them, because sometimes they're dizzied a little bit too much. There's a skill in dizzying a bird. It's a bit like the wife. I can dizzy her and put her in a situation like on the sofa and take advantage of her later on when she's come out of that dizziness. Sorry, talking rubbish again. Sorry. But yeah, we're talking about when I say a flapping bird and then the dog races out, picks that bird, sees it flap and doesn't have the fear with the bird because of the age. But it's like anything. It's like a kid could go onto a stage and have no fear and stand there picking its nose and dancing and messing around. And then you ask them to do that when they're 30 or 13 or 14. If they haven't been introduced into certain things, they can become withdrawn in themselves and not be able to, self-conscious or confidence lacks. And it takes a while to build that up. Okay. Andy, hello, Andy. Gavin Lynch, hello to you. Katie Upton, why are you trying not to swear? Your grandchildren are not used to it.
I'm used to it.
Are used to it. There's nothing wrong with swearing. It's just that some people might be against it, Kate, but I'm not. I think it's articulating how you feel, especially if you're not if you're not an intellectual sort of person. You use that as a creative. You get away with it sometimes, not always. Anyway, our lab. This is Rachel Fox. Our lab stroke Springer Cross will sit on the stop whistle, but won't plant his arse too quickly. How can we get him to sit quicker? Well, how did you teach him to sit in the first place? But he knows what sit is, but he's not parking his arse right to the floor. What you need to do, you need to give the dog a negative or a positive. So if you said sit, and then the dog parks its arse and you give it something of pleasure, then the dog's going to park its arse because you give it for something for pleasure. But if the dog knows what the command is and it's just saying, sod it, I'm not going to do it, you can give a negative to make the dog park its backside. And a negative is coming down firmer on the dog. Now, not everybody wants to agree with that, and people on here will be having a hissy fit, but let it be. Let it be. I would do it the other way. I would say, right, you know what the behavior is. I asked you to sit. You've got to park your backside. So I'd come down firmer on the dog, and that way the dog will park its arse sharper. You're not getting the dog park its arse when it suits it. But the positive works as well. So with the racket game, the tennis game that I play, it's you don't get a retrieve unless you park your backside, and you can send the racket out with the dog standing up, and you can not reinforce the sit and say it's an important factor of the game, but it's gameplay. And if you do it with gameplay, you have a happier dog than discipline, correction. But correction is part and parcel of what we do. That's what we do. We teach the dog through correction. Okay, next questions, eh? Come on, Denver Skinner. Not got the stop on her yet. There you go then. So start putting the stop on her then, Denver, as long as it's not a puppy, as long as it's about 9-10 months of age. Like I say, it's a bit like your children. If your children are running around not listening to you, your dog's not going to listen to you. And if your dog is just pushing you, it's because it's realised it can push you. And some dogs do push the red away. But at the end of the day, if you're on the long line and you just stand on that long line, they realise that you've got control of them. And I would put the dog on a placeboard. Once the dog's coming in on a placeboard, you can do that without the stop, because you can make the placeboard the fun place to come in on the placeboard. But at the end of the day, it's so easy showing you. If you're here, it's so difficult answering some of these questions unless I see the dog and see what you're doing and how you're reacting, your movement towards the dog. The lockdown has made me laugh. All I see around here is overweight dogs and overweight people here, dogs that haven't been out in years, dragging their owners down the street. Dogs walking humans. Spot on, Kieran. You want to start flogging them that $47 package that sorts out heel work. And how many people have heel work problems? It's unbelievable. You could do a dog walking service and just teach people's basics. And you know what? There's more money in that and less hassle than being a gun dog trainer.
Paul Jarvis just up from Denver. You missed it.
Oh, you've done me now. She's done me. Paul Jarvis. Chris, I have a question. Great. Can a dog be too ball obsessed? Yes, he can. Of course he can. He picks a tennis ball all the time, but doesn't pick the dummies as much as it's.
As much as it normal.
Sorry, Sue's trying to give me some English education here. Could you explain to me, Sue, as much as it's normal? You mean as much as normal?
No, but doesn't pick the dummy as much. Is it normal?
No, it's not normal. It's because you've allowed the ball to be more important than the dummy. So stop doing the ball and do the dummy. It's a good question, Paul, because there's a fine balance between creating drive and knowing then when to put the drive and keep it at that level. And you see a lot of dogs. You saw it in some of the videos that we put up on the Patreon site, that some of those dogs were very high drive for the retrieve, and the retrieve was focused up more than anything. There's a balance between having the drive and the retrieve. I did put up a thing on Patreon about a group, and it's on Patreon. I don't know if anyone shared it, and I did put it up on there. It was about a group, and they were talking about forced delivery, forced retrieving. And I won't mention the group because I took it down because I mentioned the group. I put up a screenshot of the group, and these women had started giving their opinions about forced retrieving, the same as what they were doing about Keeler the other day. You know, I don't know why I get dragged into these things. I don't know why I bother even frigging trying to educate some of these people, because at the end of the day, I'm wasting my frigging time. Honestly, I'm wasting my time. I don't want to fall out of the dog training world, but I'm trying to educate. And I'm thinking, why are you trying to educate that bunch of people when that bunch of people are so screwed up with their ideologies and their way of bringing in business and trying to educate people? Leave it alone, Chris, and just concentrate on what you do and forget them. And if people follow you, they follow you. And then I think, what about the poor people out there all being missold a pack of bullshit, a pack of lies, a pack of...
You never educate them, because if you said it's black, they would go, no, it's white.
Hear what Sue said then? She's being racist. She said you'll never educate them, because if you said it was black, they'd say it was white. You can't say that in today's society.
Okay, then if you said it's dark out there, they would go, no, it's not, it's light. There you go.
All right, she's changed it. Now, if I said it was dark out there, she said, no, it's light.
You can't educate them.
But actually, I've just looked out the window. It's not dark, but it's not light. So it's in between, isn't it? But it just shows, isn't it? You can't even freaking win with a wife at the moment, can you? Honestly, outside the back of our conservatory, there's a spade. And she said to me the other day, what's that spade doing there, Chris? Aren't you going to put it away? I went, no, it's for you. She says, what's it there for? I said, if you carry on arguing with me like you are at the moment, you'll be digging a hole. She says, why? Am I going to bury you? I says, no, it's your freaking grave. That was a joke. Me and Sue are best of mates, aren't we, Sue? See how quiet it went, everyone. See how freaking quiet it went. See, she don't lie. She don't freaking lie.
Pierre needs a congratulations.
Why is that?
They're expecting their first grandchild.
Freaking hell, Jesus. Listen, Sue, can you say that a bit quicker in future? When you said Pierre needs some congratulations, they're expecting, I'm thinking, he's freaking 60, the dirty bastard. The dirty bastard.
Well,
And then she went, their first grandchild. Well done, Pierre. Congratulations, mate. All the best. Well done. And I hope you have happy families. Do you remember how to change nappies, Pierre? Oh, no, you were a minor, weren't you? You were a minor. You had terratine. What do they call them? Terratine. What are they called? They didn't have disposables when Pierre was a kid, was he?
Terry ones.
Terry ones. Kieran Evans, look at that. Congratulations, Pierre. Everyone, have a drink for Pierre. Let's say bollocks to Pierre. Come on, let's have a bollocks to Pierre. He must be chuffed. Look, his first grandchild. I got 74, Pierre. After you've gone past your first 15, you don't give a shit anymore. You do. You love every one of the little cherubs. But the self-isolation is fantastic. Tell them all. Anyway, thanks, Chris. I'll work on that one dummy. Yeah, that's it. Go over to the dummies and work on the dummies. I think sometimes, not always, that throwing is right. Oh, no, hang on. Karen, I think that sometimes, not always, that throwing gets right to the point, but you're trying to make it get me. I'm trying to give you a laugh, everybody. I'm trying to lighten up your days. I don't want to talk about doom and gloom. Honestly, it's getting very dark out there. It's dark times, you know. We can't. Honestly, I don't know what we're gonna do next week when we've got no food coming in. I don't know which dog we're gonna eat first. You talk about Chinese eating dogs. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I keep looking at them thinking, which one could I eat first if the worst comes to the worst? I mean, do you eat one dog in one sitting, or do you like spread it out over 7 days? Anyway, Max Gibbons, can you thaw a frozen bird and refreeze it if not used for too long? How many times would you use it? Yes, you can, Max. You can, but don't eat it. Whatever you do, you can't freeze it, unfreeze it, freeze it, unfreeze it. But you can use it for dog training. But make sure you do thaw it out quite well so the feathers are nice and soft. The best thing is if you can quick freeze it so it's not got any water content in it, then it freezes and unfreezes pretty easy. It's once you get water into them, they then not easy. But until literally you can use it technically until it starts to open up. But once if a bird opens up and you get rips in it or it gets damaged, never give a dog damaged bird if you can help it. Okay. Well said, Sue. You were right the first time, says Andy Stead. See? William G's words, because you have passion for real dog training. Yeah, I have got a passion for real dog training, William. You're right. And you know what? I don't mean to be personal with anybody, but I thought the Chris Fray's live feed today was really, really interesting. And he hit the nail on the head. And yet, one of the things he did say, and I'm going to repeat it because he said it, and no one can deny it. He said that he's taken down his private group or something, and he was on Nicky Butler's private group, and he was listening to some of the comments from some of the people on there who should be not saying anything. They have not got experience enough to give opinions in advice, and I think he's dead right. And that's what got me thrown off the Vicky Butler site in reality, is because I said there's certain people on here are just giving out advice and they should shut up. It's as simple as that. And so even though Nicky Butler and Chris Fray's are very good friends and they love each other and there's a bromance there, and it's nice to see when people get on really well with each other, he's not taken sides and thrown me off his group, or he's him and me have been civil with each other. And I think he, like he said today, give him an aggressive dog, a very aggressive dog, and he's at his best, and that's where he shows himself at his best. That doesn't mean he can't do other things, and I agree 100%. We are specialists in our own area, and I stick to what I'm a specialist at, but I can appreciate someone else in a different area, and that's really important, everybody. And I sometimes make a comment on his site, and I sometimes do it with a bit of fun, and sometimes I do it with I mean what I say. And when I say fun, I try and have a little bit of humor with him, because he has got a sense of humor as well. But he can take a disagreement in some ways, and he takes it really well with me. And I like the guy in a lot of ways, and I say it the way I see it. Do I like everything? No, I don't like everything. Do I believe that I've educated him slightly in the grounds that you can't name everyone, because you're classed as a bully when you start naming everyone? And that's the problem, isn't it? If you name these trainers who have been at it for 2 minutes and are telling everybody what they're doing wrong and turning up on every forum and giving advice, instantly you're a bully. And they run off and they tell other people, and they try and gang up against you and say, oh, he's having to go at us because we're women, or we're pet trainers. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's trying to say to you, get in lane, learn the game before you try to entertain. All right. And that's what I'm saying, everybody. I don't want to fall out with anyone. My wife hates me at the moment. She hates me getting into debates and listening to debates. She hates me. She says, just do what you're good at, Chris.
Hate you.
Training dogs. Here we go. Come on. She nearly said something. Come over here and tell everyone.
No, I don't hate you. But when you're going up against a bunch of women, you're never, ever going to win.
I'm never going to win against a bunch of women?
No, because they don't freaking listen. They're freaking bloody idiots, half of them, aren't they?
Did you hear that, everybody?
Well, they think they can go into a world that, personally, I think they should stay away from.
Shall we just keep doing that, everybody? Keep doing that, look. And that's drawing the anger out of Sue. Drawing the anger out of Sue. Sometimes you've got to let go, open up. She needs another 2 glasses of wine yet. Once she's had another 2 glasses of wine, then she'll start talking openly. I'd like her sitting just here, just on my shoulder, telling you all why she feels that majority of women, and I'm not being sexist here, don't want to listen. Because I think there's blokes exactly the same as women. So I think that we've got a mixture here. We've got a mixture of people with very little knowledge and understanding, trying to pretend they've got knowledge and understanding. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm saying it openly and not saying it behind people's backs. And yet I've spoke to people about these people, and at the end of the day, I've said I have nothing personal against them, nothing personal against them at all. What I'm saying is they're feeding bullshit out there, and people are believing it because it's easy to feed bullshit. No different than that's $47 for the whole package of how to train a dog. Honestly, some of those people should perhaps take up that offer. They might have a better understanding than what they're showing on the internet. Now, like I said, I'm not mentioning names, so you can't say it's personal. If I was mentioning your name in your business, or I was rubbishing your comments and splashing them all over the internet, then you'd have every right to say, look what he does. Look, he says he doesn't like to drop people in it or rubbish people unless they're rubbishing him, and yet he's doing it. So what have I always done, Sue? Tried to do, not name names, haven't I?
Yes, but you know what these women are like? You're talking about me again.
Honestly, this is better debate than you've ever had, you lot. Honestly.
Well, like I keep saying to you, don't go there. You'll never, ever, ever win.
See? She's going. She's on one. She's on one. You lot didn't know, did you, what I have to live with? You didn't realise what I live with, did you?
Look, there's some cracking women out there.
Some cracking women. Tell me about it. I've seen some of them. They're gorgeous. They hold
their own, but there's a load of them that are freaking idiots.
Alan, moderators. Andy, Alan, Kieran, where are you when I need you? She's on one.
In the Gundog world, there's loads of them.
Oh my God, she's on one. Everyone, please help me. You missed me question. Quick, let's go back to questions. Daniel Quinn, for Christ's sake, did you miss me question 2025?
Yes, I get that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Honestly, she's kicking off, you lot. Honestly, you lot. You started, didn't you? You had to start, didn't you? Oh, my freaking God. Let's get back to questions quick. Honestly, I'm getting embarrassed. Honestly, I do not need the wife sticking up for me. Whew. Anyway, 2025. Thank Christ Daniel Quinn came in the house. Shut up, Sue! No, please be quiet, darling. Okay. You
can ask the moderators to take me off if you like. No, they won't.
Oh, you won't be taking her off. Honestly, these women, if she started on them, they wouldn't know where to turn. That's why she sits in a little box all quietly and lets me deal with it, because I'm a moderator in reality. Anyway, back to I love debate, as you all know. Daniel Quinn, let's go back to normality. Say you throw a dummy and you send your dog for it. Yes. If they don't go and get it, if they don't go the get out.
If they don't go on the get out.
If they don't go on the get out, and it's sometimes anticipating the stop whistle command.
Coming.
I see some dogs do it. I did it for some time when, well, you what you're doing, why would you be blowing the stop whistle as soon as the dog? Are we talking about the dog at your feet here? Say you throw a dummy and you send your dog for it, yeah, and then your dog's beginning to stop. That means you've done it too much, Daniel. It's as simple as that. It's so basic. It's as simple as that. It means that if you're throwing your dummy out and you're saying to the dog stop, but you've been doing it for a while, stop doing it. Stop doing it. And the dog will soon go back up to not anticipating what you want it to do. It's overdoing it. I think the thing is, with a lot of people, especially with lockdown, especially with wanting to get out and train your dog, you can do too much. Don't rush it. Don't doing too much. I watched your dog was a little bit sticky until you put your hand out. I put my hand out myself sometimes, but it's just one of them things that you get into the habit of. And it's not what is needed, but we do it. And it's the same with the movement. Sometimes you just got to move slightly to push the dog back. So if your dog is stopping, push it back. Say, get out. Encourage it at that point. If it goes to be hesitant. But the problem is, it's because you're doing it too much. Less is more. I keep saying less is more. Okay, so I hope that helped you. I've done that one. Is that another one already, Pierre? Just letting you know, Andrew is expecting our first round. Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was a second one. I thought we'd already done that question. So now where am I going? You got a lot of bollocks on here for some reason.
Pierre, congratulations.
Oh, that was congratulations to Pierre. Evening, Simon, from Rachel Fox. Look at that. Simon and Rachel forming a bond. It's beautiful, isn't it, when people on the group form a bond? I don't mean it in a dirty way. I mean it in a friendship way. You know? Oh, we go. Daniel, yes, we've done that question now. Simon Spirit, evening, Rachel. Oh, here we go. Look, Rachel as well. Honestly, there's a lot going on here, you know, we don't know about. Hey, you won't be meeting in car parks, will you? You're supposed to be self-isolated. Oh, my God, RDS Corners in the house. Hey, Kieran, you have the power of the wrench. Laugh out loud. There you go. The Spanner Boys. Oh, fine and dandy. Thanks for asking yourself. There's a bloody bromance going on here. Hi, Chris. Can you tell me, please, how... All right, Chesney Hunt, did you ask me a question earlier on and sent me a message on Patreon about... Hi, Chris. Can you please tell me who decides... How decides... What decides you're a good... Because I think you said you were dyslexic. And I'm dyslexic. It doesn't mean we can read each other's writing. We all say different things. So you sent me a message that I tried to decipher, and I understand completely. If you're very dyslexic, do you mean, hi Chris, can you tell me how do you decide who's a gun dog trainer and who's not a full gun dog trainer? I think you should be running dogs for 10 years before you could even class yourself as a professional gun dog trainer. I think 10 years, but guess what? I was speaking to Robert. I won't say his second name in case he doesn't want me to associate with him. And I'm not blowing trumpet talking to the so-called film stars. But he said to me, look, you and me both know people who've been doing this 40 years, Chris, dog training, and they haven't got a frigging clue, and they'll never have a clue. He's right. He's dead right. He says, so everyone's got to start somewhere. He's right. We've all got to start somewhere. But you don't start telling everyone what they're doing wrong and what they should be doing and what other people are doing wrong and the methods they use and the tools they use, and they haven't got a clue and they shouldn't be doing it. And I read this crap today that said, I won't go into the group. I won't go into the people who said it. And they said, a lot of people use forced retrieving in America. It's a common thing. Yes, it is. It's a common thing in America. But they use it in this country as well, but they don't talk about it. Not many people really force retrieve every dog in this country, believe me. Get your facts right. And then another person come in and said, yeah, they do it a lot in America because they don't know any better. Disagree. It's their method of training. It's not the method I'd use, but they've got different dogs than we've got because of the mindset of the dogs that they've bought out in the past and the breeding and the temperament. And at the end of the day, some trainers do, some trainers don't. The arguments are different. I understand the arguments to a certain extent. Do we need to force retrieve every dog? No, we don't. Can we show people nicer ways to do it? Yes, we can. But don't dismiss it as if you know something about it when you know very little about it. And they talk about it as if they're experts. They talk about it because they've read it for 5 minutes. A load of people have gone, oh, no, that's terrible. I wouldn't do that. I would never force retrieve a dog. Never. What happens if a customer pays £2,000 for a dog and they bought it off a trainer and and the trainer's done a crap job, ripped him off, and he's dropping the dummy or he's blinking the dummy, and when they had the demonstration, the dog was going out and picking it, and now it's not picking it, and it's 2-3 years old. They've paid £2,000 for it, and now they send it to somebody like me who has to now get the dog to retrieve and not blink stuff and go off hunting because they allowed the hunting before anything else. What's my job? My job's to get the dog right. So I have to know how to put bring those training tools out and use those training tools. Do I use a pinch of the ear or a bottle cap in the ear to make it painful? No, I don't. Do I use a pinch on the toe? No, I don't. Do I bury a dog's head in a pool of water if it starts to dig holes? No, I don't. But guess what? See that little pawley on my finger there today? Look, see it? That little pawley? I smacked a dog in the head today. Why? Because when I opened the dog box, he came out at 3,000 miles an hour and trapped me bloody finger. I told him to get back in the bloody box and wait. And so I smacked him in the bloody head with a flat in my hand. Am I a cruel bastard? No, but guess what he did? He learnt, and so did I. I learnt as well. I got punished for opening the freaking box to let the dog out. He come out like a freaking trap for acne after the fucking bunny. But that's my fault because I don't destroy drive. He doesn't sit and wait and come out with his head down. He comes out freaking gung-ho, like freaking, honestly, if you were going into battle with him, you'd have him on your side. And that's what I like. I like a driven dog. Does he fear me for slapping him in the frigging head and putting him back in the box and slamming the door on his head? No, he doesn't. Next time you come out of the box a little bit more sedate and go, I gotta wait till dad says, come on then. Right? So I taught him a lesson, but he's 16, 17 months old. I've not destroyed the drive. The drive is there like a gladiator, like her in the background. Although she's quiet and mild and meek, by God, don't piss her off, because when she flips, she's a different woman. And that's because I've not destroyed the little soul. Can't say arsehole, can you, these days? Do you know what? That's what happens, isn't it? You listen to music, but coming from the music industry, you know, we've got our soul singers. The Americans have got their soul singers. Never mind. Anyway, that's just a silly joke by Chris. Sue is giving you sound advice. You need to start listening. Thank you, Michael. That's all I need, innit? A woman telling me what to do. What are you, Michael? What are you? Get a backbone, man. Don't let them tell you what to do. They become like a mad dog else. Yeah, you got to give it. You got to listen to them sometimes, but not very often. I won't tell you that joke. I'll get in trouble. Honestly, Rachel Fox will never speak to me again. No, Dan, you haven't missed it. What are you on about?
It's a question. You've done that. Past that.
Honestly, Rachel, you could be my bloody secretary the way you're giving out answers. Karen, I'd love to see the 7 videos you get for $49. $47. You're not listening, Karen. It's $47. I think you should order them, Karen, and I think you should start using them, because within 5 days you could become a professional dog trainer. You could start teaching other people how to do everything. Do you know what? The things they talked about is the most fundamental basics that you want into a dog. But guess what? If it worked, they wouldn't have to advertise, and they definitely wouldn't have to give discount, would they? Did you see what it said as well? Did you see what I said in the thing? It actually said it. Some trainers charge $350 an hour and $3,300 a day. I think, fat boy down in Cornwall, no wonder he's so frigging busy with what he charges. Only customers who come here will know that, won't they? I do it for love. You can't say that. You cannot say that, Sue said. I don't do it for love, especially for big blokes, overweight, who try to bend me over the back of the dog box. No, I don't do it for love. I do it for the dogs. I do it for the dogs. Let's change that. Any of you freaking guys fancy me on here, you know, different with you women. If Sue's not here, you know, come down, you know. Yeah. But not when she's here. If she catches you, you're freaking addict. No, not really. I love my wife dearly. Christopher, loving it, mate. She's done really well today. Well done. Ignoring me. Oh yes, ignoring me, Karen. I remember. Laugh out loud. Go, Sue. Give some. Robert Jeffries, stop it. Sue is right. Stop it, Sean. You lot. Go, Sue. Go. Phil Watkins, pack it in. She's looking after your best interest, that lady at Heart of Gold. Karen, you're a freaking creep. Oh dear, Chris. You started a real hornet's nest now. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, honestly. Do you know what? They call me sexist, but I love women, especially good-looking women. But isn't it funny? The women I seem to freaking stumble across, a bit like me bunny boiler. Mentally freaking not all there. Anyway, we're moving on from that. Peter Piper. Ha ha, go for it, Sue. What, you lot, do you want to sit in here answering the freaking questions? So over here, answer the questions. So they're fed up with me. They want to listen to you. Royce, the voice of reason, not the frigging lunatic in the corner.
Well, you've never listened to me for years, so I don't think they lot will either.
Hear that? I've never listened to her for years, and she doesn't believe that you lot will neither, or either, or either or neither. I give in, honestly. Can you stop bullying her up? It's hard enough as it is at the moment with lockdown. Simon Spruce, that's not debate upsetting Sue. That's suicide.
Well, Simon also says, I don't mind being married, but the hours are too long.
Simon Spruce, you're disgraceful. I love marriage. I've never been so frigging happy since she's been stuck at home with me. Anyway, can you see my eyes, everyone? Am I looking very, very tired? Yeah. Come on then. And any questions? Any questions?
Yeah, Ords wants a spanner.
Gonna try these out on Saturday. Gonna try go there Saturday morning early. There you go. We're talking about something. Great help. I was asking in general for Isla and did it when I was down with you sometimes. At the minute, she's She's a miss out. That's the idea. It's better to make them slightly sticky and put the control into them at a later stage, because the stickiness will stop. If you put the control into them at a young age and you make them sticky, then sometimes that takes some bringing it out of them. It's like saying, don't put your dog under pressure. It's going to learn to cope with pressure. A load of rubbish. The dog's got to cope with pressure, same as Sue in the corner. Okay. It's not destroying the spirit. If you destroy the spirit by not allowing someone to have their opinion or debate, and then that's not proper debate, is it? Debate is where Sue can argue with me, but she has to stay rational for me to want to argue back with her. If she starts to get leery and threaten to kill me, then I don't want to play the game. I'd rather go and sit in the caravan. Or the dog kennel, she says. So what happens? She doesn't flare very often, but when she does, God help anybody who cheeses her off. And then if you cheese her off and I get upset, then you've got both of us to worry about. So there's a difference in there. I mean, she's a meek and mild little pussycat until she really wants to say something, and then there's nothing stopping her. Nothing. Don't even bother trying. I did for 10 years when we first met. I thought that's a waste of frigging time. Suicidal sometimes. Honestly, it's like a kamikaze pilot. I think you're freaking going to die. You're going to die. And then she goes, I don't care. Oh, dear me. Honestly, lucky I can control lucky I can put those demons back in the box in my head.
Because you got a big head.
Did you hear that? She said it's because I got a big head. Honestly, no worries, bud. Fucking hell, there's a conversation going on here. I don't know. Thank you, Rachel. No, honestly, it's all the cooking, Andy. I don't know. Do you know what? I can't even freaking see half these messages. Everyone's talking to each other. Evening, Keith. Thank Christ, someone's on here wants to talk to me. Thanks, Keith. Evening, Chris. Any tips on sending videos to yourself for your Patreon competitions? I sent you 2 last week on Facebook Messenger, but you said they were locked. I don't know. I don't think you sent them on Facebook Messenger, Keith. I think they came through on something else called Messenger. I've told you can send them on email. What is it? WhatsApp? What is that the one? WhatsApp. You can send it on WhatsApp. Sue said, right? Chris Upton on WhatsApp, and you can send them email, or you just got to go on Facebook and just send them through Messenger. And the reason that I asked you to do that is I'm having to check about 17 different forums of trying to download the videos, and some would let me download and save them instantly, and others wouldn't. And then I could just save them in one area and then put them up in one big go, but I couldn't. I was having to download them, load them onto another computer, load them off another computer. What's this thing called? WhatsApp? WhatsApp is only on your phone, isn't it? So if you've got the video on your phone, you can send that on there for free. Sue keeps telling me. I don't think it costs you anything on Messenger anyway. But if you're on Facebook, you can save it onto Facebook and then send it through Messenger, or you can just put the video on Messenger, or you can send it to me on email, and the email address is on Patreon as well. I think most people enjoyed it. Did you actually enjoy the little bit of competition we did on Patreon, everybody, even though you didn't win? Well, Chris did. He would have enjoyed it. Just give us a bollocks if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed that and you thought it was good fun, it was worth doing and worth doing again, just give us a bollocks and tell us how many people are on here watching. There's only get about 10 people actually make comments on there. We got 34 thumbs up, 58 people in the house. We did have 78 people in the house at one stage, but obviously Sue's screaming in the background, frightened the hell out of them, wasn't she? She just frightened the frigging hell out of them. All the women had left. All the women had freaking left. I'll tell you, I've got 50-50 women. I was building up my supply of women again, and what happened? Sue knocked them all freaking back off the list, didn't she? In one freaking swipe.
Only the idiots.
I had a mate here once, right? He picked me up once. Well, no, I used to take him to a shoot, so he used to come round, and I used to take him to a shoot. And he was late one day, and I was cursing, because I hate being late to go on a shoot. And he just rocks up, gets his dog out of the car, and he walks in the yard with his dog in his coat, and he went, and Sue was racing around doing the kennels, and it was summer's morning, and she was absolutely running like a headless chicken doing the kennels for me, and I was ranting, and so she weren't happy anyway. And he came and he said, "Oh, it's lovely to see that you look like everybody else in the morning." She said, "Get out my garden, you plank." That guy never came back, you know. He never came back. How dare you call me? How dare you talk to me like that? I think he put Bigfoot in mouth or mouth in foot, whatever you call it. And do you know, he'd only ever talk to me, and he'd still talk to me, but he'd never come around the house ever again. He never came around again. And do you know what? Snowflakes, he said. She said, you plank. She called him a plank. I mean, calling a man a plank, honestly, she upset him. She upset him terribly, she did. He never recovered. He never recovered. Anyway, she said, shut up and answer the questions.
Man up, I say.
Man up. Bollocks, great fun. Top class comments. If you're not on Patreon, you're missing the dog's bollocks. Thank you very much, Michael. Very nice of you. Michael, you're on 10% this week. Good night, all. You freaking big baby, Pierre. Get off to bed. Get off to bed. Good night, Pierre. Nice talking to you. Took Leadburn Lab out. Oh, nice today. Outside. Really proud. She did everything right, and I wish I had a video to it. There you go, Denver. I told you quality Leadburn, didn't I? Night, Pierre. Oh, you freaking love art as well. Dirty, dirty sod. Sue rules the roost. Tell me about it, Paul. Tell me about it. Come on then, Sue. What's the question?
You've got about 3 of them here. So I'm going back to 2050.
2050. Hang on. Keith, done that one. Yeah. Done that one, haven't we?
Well, this is a minefield. I've decided to buy a Cocker Spaniel, but I want a family pet.
Sorry, what time, Susan, please?
2050.
2050. Sorry about that, everyone. Let's go back there. Rachel Fox.
Yes, that one.
Oh, no. Clifford Markland.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. It's a minefield for me. I've decided to buy a Cocker Spaniel, but I want a family pet. But I also want a dog just for rough shooting. Love your videos. Through regards, Cliff.
Well, that's it. Then next one down.
So it's a minefield out there. Yes, it is a minefield, Clifford. Susan, be quiet, please. Susan, in the background, be quiet. I'm talking to Mark Clifford, not Mark Clifford. Mark Clifford's a dog trainer. I'm talking to Clifford Markland. I don't know why it's Mark Clifford. Anyway, Clifford Markland. Yes, there's some lovely, lovely cockers out there. But yes, it is a minefield. And at the end of the day, a lot of them have got noise. A lot of them aren't bred right. A lot of them aren't the right breeding. At the end of the day, if you want me to speak to you about putting you onto somebody, if you tell me what area you are, if you speak to me in Messenger or something like that, I'll give you a few trainers who I thoroughly recommend and I trust, because unfortunately there's a lot of scoundrels out there. And so if you'd like to speak to me in private, I will give you the names. I don't want to do it on here, but I can put you onto people who are decent, straightforward, and I'll tell you one straight away if you want to have a look. Andy Platt. Look up Andy Platt. Andy Platt knows a lot of people with decent cockers if he hasn't got any, and he will see you right, and he will help you. And you can always give a little bit to charity because of the help he gives you, as in just a gesture to say thank you, a few quid. But yes, he deals. I think he's more honest than most.
You've got one from Jonathan Wakefield as well.
Rachel Fox, Sue, I'm crying. Behind every great man is an even greater woman. Rachel, you don't live with her.
See, I told you there's some brilliant women out there.
Yeah, there's some brilliant women out there, honestly. I like people with a sense of humour as well.
Jonathan Wakefield, anyway, so I don't...
What, further down, further up? Where am I going?
Further up.
Further up. Jonathan Wakefield. How far? Give me the time, please.
2054.
That's further down, then.
Oh, you're up further up.
That's down.
Yes.
Down.
Yeah, down.
Okay, Jonathan Wakefield. Do you have any advice on how I can work on tidying up the delivery? I mean, closer and getting her to sit and deliver. Thanks. Get on, Sue. Sue? Jonathan wants a question answering here. You have to wait for Susan to answer that, Jonathan. Get on, Sue. That's you. That's your question out the frigging window. Sorry, mate. Good night. Good night, Jonathan Wakefield. Right, Jonathan. The question is this. Do you have any advice on how I can tidy up the delivery? Yes, I keep telling you people. How old's your dog? When you say tidy up the delivery, what do you mean? It's dropping it? It's not coming in? It's twisting its head? Use a place board. Teach the dog to sit away from the place board. Sit on the place board. Teach the dog to sit and come in and look up at you at the place board, and then go and do the retrieve. Once you've got the dog doing it 100% without the retrieve, then you'll find the dog will bring it in with the retrieve and do exactly the same thing. So you're building it up in stages, because what happens when something goes wrong in training, you just go back one stage. That's all you need to do. Go back one stage. Go back one stage if you've got your training right in the first place. If you've put a little bit there and a little bit there and another little bit there and another little bit there, and then you try and rush it, guess what? You're going to start all over again if you're not careful. But if you do it in sequences and you start to build it up and up and up and up and up and up, and something goes wrong in the training, you only have to go back one step. That's exactly the same as force retrieving. If you know anything about force retrieving in reality, it's done up in a number of stages, and those stages are important. If you do it in those stages, you don't need to use as much force as you would if you just went straight in and said, you're gonna hold this, bang it in the mouth and ram it in the mouth. At the end of the day, some trainers do that and some trainers don't. At the end of the day, if you build it up in stages, then you don't need to be as harsh as people say. But as soon as you use the word force retrieving, it's like saying it's a volunteer bird. It took off. It volunteered. No, it didn't. It had a dog up its arse. It didn't have much choice. That's not a volunteer bird. A volunteer bird is a bird that takes off without anybody near it. It's just decided to get out of the way. But it didn't volunteer, did it? It just took off. It's how you word these things, isn't it? And as soon as we talk about discipline and pressure and release, oh, I don't want to pressurize a dog. Well, sorry, bye-bye. Go somewhere else. But all I'm saying is some of these people are trying to run before they can walk, and they haven't got a clue because they've not studied it. They've flicked through it, and they've seen some terrible videos on the internet, and they've instantly gone, that is cruel, that is barbaric. It's the same as the e-collar, isn't it? There's plenty of videos on the internet that show it's a barbaric tool used that way. But there's plenty of internet videos that show you how to do it with love, affection, and pretend that it's all fairy farts. It's not. But if you teach the behavior first to the dog, not the e-collar behavior, and then you teach what the meaning of the e-collar means, and you then strengthen it, you overlay the behavior. And that's what we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks. E-collar training on Patreon. Guess why? Because I get accused of not knowing what I'm doing and having to use an e-collar because I can't train a dog. I can't train a dog because I need an e-collar. I can't train a dog because I use a bonk towel on the odd occasion. So here's a question for everybody on here. Let's finish off with a question for everybody on here, shall we? Because we've got one, we've already done an hour. So here's a question for anybody on here. It says there's 53 people on here, so you're still here. So I have a question for you. I want your answers on here. If you've got a dog eating poo, and you're out in the park and your dog's eating dog poo, how would you stop the dog eating dog poo? What would you do to your dog to stop the dog eating dog poo? Could you please give me an answer? I want no shit answers. I want everyone to be sensible. So your dog, you've got your dog and he just starts to eat dog poo. How are you going to stop your dog eating dog poo? Could you please answer that question? Because I listened to a live feed that was on, and I'd like you people to tell me how you would resolve this issue. Right?
And don't forget to say it.
And don't forget, people do have the dogs on the settee and they're kissing it and they're letting it lick their face. And at the end of the day, it does happen on the odd occasion. Some dogs do eat dog shit. Dog poo. We're going to call it dog poo. Dog poo, children. So your little fur baby.
Yeah, because Alex
is in the house. Alex, I want to answer from you as well.
Hi, Grandad.
Hello, Alex. This is Grandad. Grandad wants to ask you a question, Alex. Your little favourite dog is eating doggy poo. Eating doggy poo when you take him out for a walk. Could you tell me how you stop him eating doggy poo? Come on. Come on. How about that for everyone? Come on. I'm coming back up to watch these corrections. Come on. Paul Cocker, shout to distract. What would you shout, Paul? Shit. Come on. I'd give a strong verbal. Thanks, everyone. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. What, for eating dog poo? Come on. Anybody on here? Keep him away from it. Tell him to drop it. Keep it on the lead. Tell the dog to bloody leave it. I'll give the dog a taste of hell at the exact moment he eats dog poo. Honestly, you lot are on the wrong freaking track. Shout at it, and it stopped when it was a pup. Never done it again. Well done, Peter Piper. If if he was on a lead. Now let's just make it easy for you. Dog's off a lead, and he decides to start eating dog poo. It becomes a habit. What are you going to do? Come on, short, sharp correction. Firm, no correction. Firm, hey, firm, no correction. Leave that and leash correction. This message is I just tell the bitch to leave dead. Works every time. Keith, look at that. Leave dead. Not tell. I'd say no every time. He does it after a good load of time. He created. Well, I'm not going to say what the live feed was, everybody, or who it was, but it was. I will say to you, it was a very, very well-known dog trainer, and the person who doing the live feed said, "That's disgraceful. It's disgusting." And they were explaining about its vitamins, lack of vitamins, it's a lack of a raw diet, it was lack of this, lack of that. Some dogs eat shit, some dogs don't eat shit. I correct it. I know I correct it. I carry some gravel in my pocket. And if I see a dog eating shit and he gets into a habit of it, all I have to do is take the gravel and throw the gravel at the dog's backside. Really old-fashioned caveman stuff, really, from a dog trainer who doesn't know what he's talking about. But God, it bloody works. Because as soon as that dog's eating shit, he remembers next time you freaking eat shit, you throw gravel at him again, and he soon learns because you're actually giving him a correction across his backside. You're not hurting him. You're not hurting him. It's just it's a shock factor, the same as the bonk towel. I don't want to throw a bonk towel in a field because it might end up having shit on it. And I don't want to be carrying a bonk towel because I don't want the dog to associate it with it being a dummy, and I'm throwing freaking dummies at it. So there you go. That's why I wouldn't use a bonk towel that looks like a dummy rolled up. And this trainer would never use a bonk towel because he reckons that's old-fashioned. No problem at all. We're not going to fall out over it. We're going to agree to disagree. I've used bonk towel for dog-on-dog aggression and dog-on-food aggression and stop the behavior. No problem at all. By changing the mindset, then I introduce myself and give the dog a better way out. And guess what? I love debating. I love talking to people. And I'm now going to tell you, before you all go, what this dog trainer says. Instead of giving the dog a negative, give the dog a positive. Carry some food, whether it's dried food, carry some high value food, and every time it eats the dog shit, give it the high value food, and it'll stop eating the dog shit for the high value food. Are you not reinforcing a negative behavior? Interesting, isn't it? So there you go, isn't it? Doesn't it show really that we can all agree to disagree? It's not a matter of falling out. So a lot of you people come in here with firmness, correction. I would stop a unwanted behavior with a negative, right? That's what I would do, right? Not that I'm nasty to the dog, not that I'm going to be horrible to the dog. I don't want the dog eating shit. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, the dog hasn't got the capacity to sit it down and say, listen, we're not going to come to the park again if you carry on doing that. And it can soon get into a habit, can't it? So there's a fine example of different trainers doing different things. Who's right and who's wrong? Who is right and who is wrong? If you look at Keeler, and you look at Bill Keeler and the foundation of dog training, going back to the 60s, they wouldn't mess around by freaking carrying steak in your freaking pocket or high value food and giving the dog a positive for a negative. So I'm not rubbishing this trainer in any way. I'm just saying, and then the person then changes its mind and wants to say, yeah, I agree. What you've got to do is you've got to make up your own mind, everybody. Says you're right here, Chris. Thank you very much, Craig. I don't know. When I say I don't know if I'm right, I know how to get results. It's as simple as that. And I know how to nip it in the bud pretty quick because I don't want it to become habit forming. And some dogs get into the habit of doing it and they go through stages. And I can't tell you the science behind it, whether it's freaking higher value food or crap food they eat and they can smell pedigree chum when they're on the freaking park. I don't take my dogs to the park. If you take your dogs to the park and they go, oh, he's on pedigree chum, that little fucker. I'm only on dry cribble. Freaking hell, come on, Chris. Sort yourself out. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't want to get into all that crap. I just want to resolve the issue. So I give the dog a negative. Could you have an e-collar on the dog and every time the dog freaking touches the shit, just tap it on the collar? Yes, of course you could. But do I need an e-collar? No, because I just do it the old-fashioned way. I carry the gravel. You could carry a gravel bottle, couldn't you? And every time the freaking dog puts his head down, and when I say a gravel bottle, some of you might not even know what a gravel bottle is, because today's society says a gravel bottle is a terrible tool that we used to use when you want to frighten the shit out of a dog. In other words, what you do, you put a load of freaking gravel in a Coke bottle, and then you carry it with you, and the rattle bottle, it's like a rattle bottle, isn't it? So the dog freaking, you know, and you can throw it towards the dog. The dog will freaking soon leave the shit alone, I'll tell you. But if you're not a very good shot, you might end up getting a Coke bottle in the shit. And then it will be a shit, won't it? Trying to clean that up and walk around home with it. I didn't. Anyway, you lot, let's leave it on that, shall we? I'm on a roll tonight, aren't I? Hope you enjoyed tonight. You're totally correct. I'm always correct. That's what the wife says. Yes, reinforcing it, I'd say. Would you, Chris? Well, perhaps he needs to explain a little bit more. And perhaps I didn't listen to enough of it. At that point, I thought this is a load of shit and turned it off. The live feed I'm on about. But do you know what? What I'm saying is I listen to everything and anything I can get my head around. And sometimes I just think you're overcooking yourself sometimes, Chris. Stop worrying about it all. Just carry on doing what you're doing. Getting results for people and showing people how to get a better dog. And at the end of the day, like I said, I've not mentioned any names. I don't want to fall out with anybody. I want everybody to learn and enjoy it and actually have fun. And I want people to come on and become better dog trainers than they're pretending they are. And that's the thing. If we can educate instead of discriminate, then surely that's a better way to go, isn't it? Forward. But sometimes we've got to say it the way it is, and unfortunately, we're going to upset some of those little snowflakes. And they're normally very giggly, loving people, but they just can't cope with what the real dog training world's about.
I wouldn't say they're freaking small. I'd say they're freaking like icicle drops.
Oh no, she's starting again. Don't start her off, everyone, please. I think it may work with some dogs. What, Karen? Giving them steak? Don't eat that shit. Come over here and have a steak. You could do that, couldn't you? You could give them steak every time they have. Yeah, okay, Karen. It may work with some dogs. It may work with some snowflakes. But the trainer who said that as a load of snowflake followers, glossy videos, and poor advice. Oh, I'm not saying that. Adam. I think you don't know who the trainer I'm on about. I don't think. And at the end of the day, I don't think that was the reason. I rate this trainer actually, and I like a lot of the things he says. I agree with a lot of things he says, but we can agree to disagree. It's as simple as that. That's not that I'm trying to be bitchy. I'm not trying to be funny. I've not mentioned him as who I was talking about in that instance, or the live feed. No need to. Other people will know only for the fact they may have listened to the live feed and thought, yes, I understand who it is, but I don't. You may have listened to it, Adam, but I don't know. Then the Skinner. I went to a trainer a while back with my lab was barking. I told her to shut up. Hang on. I went to a trainer a while back. My lab was barking. I told her to shut up, and he gave her food. That's the last time I went there. Well done, Denver. Because people have got this idea that you flood the dog with as much food as possible to change the mindset. You've seen it with Zach George. You've seen it with Victoria Stillwell. They are using the fanny bag. They just become a food dispenser to change the dog's mindset away from the situation at the time. But trust me, if the dog wants to eat shit, you throw in freaking kibble all around the field, he ain't going to start hunting for the kibble like one of our hunting dogs. At the end of the day, there's a good idea. If he's doing it, don't take him there. Don't take the dog there. If you want to stop it, it's simple. Some of your questions were really sensible. But yes, correction is what I would give. I would give a negative, and the dog will avoid a negative and work for a positive. But I don't say a positive overlays a negative. Yes, you might get his mindset, good boy, and the dog thinks friggin' steak because you've conditioned him. You've paired it with the voice of good boy. He thinks, fucking hell, there's steak over there. I'll leave the shit. You could argue that fact of it, but I think the trainer needed to say a little bit more about it rather than you give it a positive rather than a negative. You give it something of higher value to change the mindset. But first, you have to pair it. You have to pair the behavior so the dog sees it as a positive. It's like if you condition the ball as your treat, your game, and you suddenly produce a ball when a dog wants to run off to another dog, and he sees the ball and he's focused on the ball, he may turn because you've shown him the ball, and you pair it with the language or the command. And so yes, it can work to that extent, but I'd rather just give a negative and nip it in the bud straight away. I can't see how it's going to cause a bigger problem later on in life, that he won't be able to shit or have nervous breakdown. Every time he has a shit, he thinks somebody's going to freaking throw something at him. At the end of the day, I don't think dogs should be eating shit. It's just unclean. It's not healthy. They do. It's part and parcel of life. They just wallow in any old shit, don't they? Sometimes. So anyway, there you go. That's Chris Upton signing off. Just giving my side of the story as I see it. Nothing personal against any one person in the world. I'm too fat and old and knowledgeable and pig-headed to worry about that sort of shit. And so all of you, shit equals steak. Don't think so, Michael. I'll tell you what, if every time you ate shit you got a steak, I might even start thinking about it myself. I mean, every time I go down to Tesco's, I say, can I get a steak? She says, no, let's go down the shit aisle. Let's go down the freaking frozen aisle. Let's go and buy a freaking frozen pie or something. Oh, I'd rather have steak. Just have a shit on the floor and start eating it. She'd soon buy me a steak then, wouldn't she? Anyway, it's 2 meters distance in Tesco's at the moment, so it wouldn't really bother too many people, would it? Have a nice evening, everyone, and bollocks. Thanks very much. Chris Upton talking rubbish as normal. He got bored tonight after a while because he just thought, what the hell are we going to talk about? There was no really good questions tonight, was it, really, when you think about it? You didn't really test this guy, did you, in his knowledge? It was like, how do I get my dog to deliver? I keep telling you, how did I get my dog to walk nicely on the lead? How did I get my dog to not be this and that? You need to buy that $47 package, guaranteed money back. If you're not happy, you don't have to answer questions, and then leave me a freaking loan. Right? All you people asking questions for free and not willing to pay for it, go and buy that package. Come back to me if it doesn't work. I'll give you your money back. No, I won't give you your money back for that. I'll give you your money back if my system doesn't work. That's the one thing I promise. If my system doesn't work, I'll give you your money back. But you've got to put the homework in. It's as simple as that. Anyway, Sue's saying good night to you lot after winding you all up. Good night, Susan. Say good night to everyone, Susan.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Stay safe, Susan says, and have a good time. Good night, everybody. Chris Upton signing off. There you go.